opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program host and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by TCN TV Network Incorporated. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. The TCN TV Network claims no rights to the said content. TCN TV Network cannot be held accountable for the copyrighted content. TCN TV Network is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this program.
Tone Talks brings to you the difference between black wealth and white wealth explained in less than 2 minutes. In America, we think that we understand race, wealth, and how the two intertwine. We believe in a sharing of wealth among the races that largely does not exist. The truth is, by the data, there are really hardly any blacks that are millionaires in the United States, and whites largely own almost all of the personal wealth in the country. According to demos.org, white America owns 90% of the national wealth, with the top 50% of white families holding 88% of all of America's personal wealth in their bank accounts. Despite having billionaire Oprah Winfrey, of the 14 million black families, less than a few 100,000 of these households are worth more than $1 million, and that number is shrinking. While at the same time, over 8.5 million white families are worth more than $1 million. Adding to this, almost all of the 540 American billionaires are white as well. In fact, according to a report by Credit Suisse, to be in the top 5% of black families, you only need to be worth $356,000, including your house. All while just the top few hundred white American families are worth more than all of black America combined. Subscribe.
Welcome, everybody.
Greetings upon greetings.
Welcome to Here to Help You on my TCN TV network. Definitely happy to be back.
Yes.
Returned. Returned.
Mm-hmm. And boy, are your arms tired.
Wow, Dave. So I'd like to obviously, before we start our show and we even talk about that video, I'd like to introduce my co-host with the most, Mr. Dave Rankin.
Greetings and salutations. Alongside the Danette, the birthday woman.
Guys, tomorrow's my birthday.
The Earth Strong Omana.
I'm turning 40, everybody.
See, I won't use the term Cancerian.
I'm a Cancer.
Mm-mm.
I am.
Mm-mm. See, in the ancient Kemetic sciences, right?
What am I?
You'd be Kepara, the scarab, the bringer into being. Yes, that's right.
And what am I? The
Kepara.
The bringer of the
bringer into being, or the becoming.
Oh, the becoming. That suits me.
See?
I'm always becoming.
There
Today
you
I'm
go.
becoming blonde. Welcome, guys. So honestly, what do you think about that video? Because it's gonna be really a lot about what we talk today.
See, here's the thing I don't understand out there in America, and because we are North America, so it does follow suit here, that in America they have so many successful individual Americans.
Okay.
But collectively,
not enough success for you? Are you talking about in general? Or are you talking about black people?
no, I'm talking about us. Only
Okay.
us.
Okay.
Successfully. Listen, when you look at the amount of millionaires, how much basketball players are millionaires? How much football players are millionaires?
But it was just saying in this video that regardless, it's still not enough. There's still not enough. of
Yes,
us.
I agree. I agree that, you know what, as individuals, yes. Sorry, as collectively,
Okay.
right?
Okay. So, you know what? This book is, I'm going to definitely advise and suggest that everybody take this book in. We're only going to be able to touch a bit of it, but we know what we're going to have to do. I realize we have way too many notes. But what we're going to do is we're going to pull out sections of this that I really want you guys to tap into.
Mm-hmm.
But when you first read this book, Dave,
Mm-hmm.
what was your first initial thought?
From relating it back to African science, we're looking at a mindset. And that's all what it is. It's changing
Yes.
your mind to go ahead and actually think about the things that you probably have never thought of, or think in a way that you never thought that was possible.
What are some of the things that you've heard? And I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of the things that we're going to talk about today are going to disturb what you have been taught. And it's going to probably make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Some of these thoughts, because a lot of us have been programmed
Mm-hmm.
to think poverty. This is why you'll hear comments like the famous one, I'm broke. Yeah, that's why you stay broke. This is why, oh, I have so many bills to pay. This is why every month you have so many bills to pay. I'll never have enough. That talk of lack.
Right.
Where does this come from?
Oh, that's without question in regards to like the survival modes that we've been in.
We've been stuck in survival mode.
Yeah, for so long, very too long.
Right? And it's going to take a shift, which is exactly what we hope we'll be able to do with our viewers today, is to shift your perception on the word rich. Because even saying the signs of getting rich, that's a book that we're talking about.
Right.
It's like that word's dirty. Rich is for only for like certain individuals. Only certain people can be rich.
Well, you know, once again, you're looking at the relationship, right? I mean,
With money.
Exactly.
I love money. You know, they say money is the root of all, even things like that.
No, it's not the money, it's the
Money
lover
is
of it,
not the root of all evil.
right? It's what you do.
What do you do with that money? It's like with anything else. If you're giving someone a knife, the knife is only dangerous if you stab someone in their face with it.
Only in her face?
Money is a wonderful thing if you use it to help others.
Right.
Actually, there's a section in here that I really know is going to hurt people because it talks about how God does not want you to be this all-sacrificing self. And a lot of us feel like that's what we have to do. If you're not all-sacrificing, you're not a good person. No, God wants you to take care of you.
Right.
Because if you're good,
Everybody's
everybody
good.
around you is good.
That's right.
But some of us want to be what are they called? The matriarch? No, when you're like, no, it's not a matriarch. It's when you try to put yourself up like on a cross. Like,
Yeah.
it's not matriarch.
No? It's
No,
not?
there's
That's
another
what you're
word
looking
for it.
for?
Do you remember the word for it, Selena?
You mean
Where's
the
your mic?
you mean the sacrificial lamb?
Selena needs to get her mic
You
after.
mean
That sacrificial lamb. Where
Yes.
It's like, oh my God, I have to do all this for everybody. And now I'm so like tired and no one asked you to do all of that. No, I'm guilty. I can speak on this. I'm guilty. I stopped that. I'm going to take care of me. And I'm going to manifest my wealth because the richer I am, the more I can help people.
Right.
The more money I have, this is why I speak abundance into my life every single day. And we're going to start tackling some of these points, but I figured this was a really good way to introduce this book. So what else do you take from this book, Dave, before we jump into like some of the facts and the points?
I like the way that was written. I mean, it wasn't written, for instance, not in any type of like university type language. I mean, it's very easy for the layperson to go ahead and actually understand the science.
Yes,
Right.
science, the points.
Right,
Absolutely.
exactly, right. I'm the part about, of course, the God, right? I like that,
Yeah.
right? There's other points in there that I'm sure we'll go through,
We're going to try to get through
right?
most of them.
However, though, the summary, if anybody hasn't purchased the book or has purchased the book, there's a summary at the back of the book, right? So, I mean, by means, like, the application is not hard.
But a lot of people will not do do it.
But it does take effort.
It takes effort, and they say it. You need to be willing to commit to this type of mind change. Like, you have to do away with everything you've learned. So, you know what? We're not going to say too much. We're actually going to jump right into this.
Yeah.
So when you come back next segment, we're going to actually start tackling some of the science of getting rich. We're here to change mindsets, change perceptions, guys. Join us back here on Here to Help You.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. May your dreams all come true. Happy birthday to you.
We refuse to promote, report on anything negative in the community.
Welcome back, everybody, to Here to Help You. And today we're talking and breaking down the book, The Science of Getting Rich. What's his name again? Wallace D. Whittles?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes. So the first time that I read this book, I was thrown off, but I enjoyed it, and I've been using a lot of the techniques. I'm going to tell you right now, they work. It works.
Wattles is the last
Wattles?
name. Wattles.
Wattles. I said whittles, like he's whittling stuff. Wattles. So
Wattles.
let's jump right into this. So go straight to the thinking, your mindset. So thinking stuff from which all things are made. A thought is a substance that produces something after it's been imagined. So everything, guys, begins with an idea. Everyone, Selena, you have our first, there we go. So everything begins with an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Ideas acted upon can actually create reality. These are some things that people know.
Mm-hmm.
You know these things.
Mm-hmm.
Raw materials of physical, mental, emotional can be configured to create something new and great.
Mm.
Thought is the only power which can produce tangible riches from, wow, someone just lost it.
From the formless substance.
Thank you very much for that.
You're right.
So man can form things in his thought, and by impressing this thought upon formless substances can cause the thing he thinks about to actually be created.
Mhm.
So this is talking about anything.
Yeah, definitely. When I hear this, and actually when I heard it for the first time, it takes me back to the days in our community classes, our community African-centered community classes, where our teacher always told us that everything begins with a thought,
Yes.
right? This thought
Everything.
which permeates, which generates what's inside here. This thought
Yes.
right here, right? And of course, from there, everything spawns out, right? It also took me back to the virtues of the aspirants. You find out in the Stolen Legacy, where the first aspirant, the first rule is control of thought.
Control of thought.
Mhm.
And thought is so important in everything. So number one thing, if your thinking is not right, nothing that we teach you today is going to work.
Mm.
And we're going to have to fly through this. So I'm already going to move on to picture 3, Miss Selena. Yes. So nature is an inexhaustible storehouse of riches. The supply will never run short. Original substance is alive with creative energy and is constantly producing more forms. When the supply of building material is exhausted, more will be produced, more will form. When the supply, sorry, I just repeated myself. There is nothing wrong in wanting to get rich. Let me just say that. But
Right.
before we go to there,
Mhm.
let's talk about the supply.
Okay.
So the supply we're talking about is the fact that money, it's always there. Money is energy too.
Right.
And there's always more of it.
Mhm.
So whenever it exhausts, you shouldn't worry about it.
Mm.
All you need to be worrying about, actually, you shouldn't be worrying at all. All you need to be thinking about is the creation of more.
Right.
So instead of looking at the negatives in your bank account, look at the fact that those negatives are going to turn into positives.
Correct.
They will come. They will form.
Mhm.
I know it sounds very, how, Simone, how are we going to do this? Okay, so there is an actual science to getting rich. And it is an exact science. That's what Mr. Wallace said.
Yes.
Okay? Like algebra or arithmetic, there are certain laws that govern the process of acquiring riches.
Mm.
Once these laws are learned and obeyed by any man or woman, he will get rich with mathematical certainty.
Right.
This is why there's no way we can cover everything in this segment or in this show,
Mhm.
but I'm definitely recommending everybody go and pick up this book because he's broken it down to a science.
Yeah, for those of us who want to go to relate it right back to kinetic science, this is like pata, right? Being able to go and transform that raw material into something,
Yes.
right?
So there's a very important rule that we're going to speak about first, and this is the rule of competition.
Mhm.
This is the part I think that really stuck with me.
Mhm.
In order to do this, man must they must pass from the competitive to the creative mind.
Mm.
Otherwise, he cannot be in harmony with the formless intelligence, which is always creative and never in a competitive spirit.
Mm.
This one is very important. Competition exists when there is a game with certain rules.
Right.
Instead of competing, look for ways to create new realities that return riches in which you create the rules.
Right.
Talk to me, Dave, when you hear about this. What does that make you think about?
I thought probably this is one of the most important points in the book.
Absolutely.
Right. When we set, and I'm taking a line back from Spartacus, thought to purpose.
From what show?
The Spartacus, right? Thought to purpose.
The thought purpose.
Yes, put thought to purpose. This is exactly what I heard. This is what I heard when I hear this, right? Being creative.
Be
right?
creative.
That's thought to purpose. That is, of course, planting that seed in your mind, right? And say, you know what? We have something. We're going to go for something. We're going to do this and continue to do this, right?
Blinders.
Right. And not taking any other outside thought,
No.
right? It's simply, you know what? This is our path.
Okay, so this whole process of mental adjustment and atonement can be summed up in one word:
Hmm.
gratitude.
Yes.
So this is the second part of it. So first thing, no competition. Stop competing, which would mean don't go online and look at what everybody else is doing, because it doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. There's enough for everyone.
That's right.
It doesn't matter. Like that's where I think we run into problems, because we always think that there's this limited amount of abundance and we've got to be competing with someone else for that limited amount of abundance. There are no limits.
Right.
We create the limits in our mind.
Yeah.
Stop competing. I get really aggressive when it comes to stuff like that. You know what it is? It's because for this one, this is the one that I had to listen to the most. In everything that we teach everybody, I want you to understand we're not here as like any type of, well, we are experts in certain things. When it comes to mindset, yes, I would say I've learned how to control my mind very well. I'm very good at that. But we want to, obviously, even in my expertness, that's a word, I still have work to do.
Right.
And this is my biggest one, is the competitive one. Gratitude, with gratitude, you know what? I'm pretty good.
Okay.
But it's something that we do need to talk about. So
Right.
Many people who order their lives rightly in all other ways are kept in poverty by their lack of gratitude. So these are the people who, you're not grateful for what you already have.
Right.
You're too busy competing and worrying about what you don't have, that you're not realizing you are in abundance.
Right.
Gratitude will lead your mind out along the ways by which things come and will keep you in close harmony with creative thought. If you are forever being grateful for what you have, you will be thinking about ways to create more,
There you go.
right? Like, I'm grateful I have this apple, but you know what? I want more apple. I'm thankful for this apple, but I want more. So I'm I'm going to create some more. How? I'm going to take a walk down the street and see if I can find me an apple tree so I can have some more. Or I'm going to cut the apple in half and I have two. No?
Nice try.
Gratitude.
It's still gratitude though.
So the moment you permit your mind to swell with dissatisfaction about things as they are, you begin to lose ground.
Yes.
Okay? You fix attention upon the common, the ordinary, the poor, and the squalid. I love that word.
Yes.
And mean. And your mind takes the form of these things. So again, focusing on your mind. What is your mind forming? I sometimes ask, actually, I had a conversation with a young lady yesterday, and she was telling me about things that are coming into her life. So I said to her, well, what are you manifesting? Both intentionally and unintentionally. And she was like, oh.
Right? True. And, and especially when you hear stuff like this, it's all about being present in the moment.
Oh, don't even touch that yet, because we're about to go there. That's one of the things,
Right.
That's one of the rules, is staying present.
Right. And it's the hardest thing to do. I mean, our ancient forefathers, our ancient foreparents, they've always taught us to stay in the present. There's a piece in the committed scripture where on the line of today and tomorrow, right? And in between that simply is, this mountain where the sun rises, right? And it's teaching us, listen, do not worry about yesterday, nor the future, right? But remain steadfast
Yes.
in the present.
In the present moment.
Right?
So staying in the present is going to allow you to transmit these forms of mental images. The formless and the common, the poor, and the squalid will come and stay with you if you're not mindful of this. You have to be very careful.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Even in the present, you've got to be mindful of your thoughts. Right? So again, when you get that check and the first thing you say is, oh my God, the check's already done. Guys, you've already defeated yourself.
True.
You've got to think again. Yes, I'm going to get this check and I'm going to spend it on things, but there's still more to come. Even changing the words, which we're going to talk about, are also very, very important. So when we come back, we're going to continue to tap in. Just so you guys know, for those who might just be joining us, we've hit on two things. We've hit on gratitude, being grateful for what you have in the present moment.
Yes.
And competition and creativity. You cannot be competing and creating at the same time.
True.
We'll head with a little bit more from the Science of Getting Rich right here on Here to Help You.
Hello everyone, my name is Jermaine Chambers, and I'm very excited to tell you about the newest political and current affairs program coming here to Brampton. It's called On Point.
The first step of true reconciliation is learning more about one another.
Join us on Tuesdays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. as we discuss all the issues.
I will never forget the trust you put in me.
Municipal, provincial, federal, and any issue of national importance we will talk about on Point. So do join us.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yes,
Welcome
yes.
back. Welcome back. I'm here to help you. If you are just joining us, today we are discussing the book, The Science of Getting Rich.
It's every so often you come across these rare gems of literature.
Yeah.
And this is one of them.
Absolutely.
Right? I think,
Absolutely.
as much as, of course, there are a lot of us out there who've now went, of course, to Kemetic thought and so on and so forth, right? Or African spirituality and African-centered philosophy, right? But there's things that just are universal.
Absolutely.
Right? And you can see them regardless of course, what school of thought, what school.
Who wrote it?
You're supposed to be able to go ahead and notice the universality, right?
Yes.
Of this thought or of this process.
Absolutely.
Right?
Let's jump into some more.
Go
So
ahead.
if you're just joining us, we've discussed two aspects of two theories in this Science of Getting Rich, okay? Again, we are only breezing through this. We're pulling out points for you guys. I recommend you guys either read this book or listen to the audio. It's only 2 hours and 14 minutes. And you can find the audio on YouTube too.
Yeah,
Definitely something I think you guys, if you're cleaning or something, this is one of those things you can throw on when you're doing something mindless. Like writing up invitations like I was. Okay, so let's talk about contemplation. So
Go on with it.
man must form clear and definite mental image of the things he wishes to have. So again, your mentality. Or to become, and he must hold this mental image in his thoughts while being deeply grateful to the Supreme that all his desires are being granted. So this is some faith that we're talking about here.
This is the power of visualization.
Visualization, that's right.
You know, of course, once again, as African spirituality, they tell us, right, you must visualize.
Yes.
Right? When you're speaking, for instance, now if you're praying to an ancestor, right, or praying for the guidance of an ancestor, you must visualize this ancestor. And not only just visualize the ancestor, but visualize the outcome that you need.
So the reason why I think visualization sometimes can be really difficult for us is because we are really, it's almost like we are focused on the present, but it's like the negative present. So it's like you'll have this beautiful image pop up of what you want, but then you look at your check, or you look at your bank statement, or you look at the bills piling up on your desk, and you're like, oh my God. And right away you cancel out that visualization. And not only do you cancel out that visualization, you can sometimes even set yourself back.
What would be something practical? As soon as something like this happens, in regards to that thought, can we go ahead and actually advise some of our users?
So the most practical thing that I can tell you to do, which is something I've learned and I am really good at now, is learn how to reject thoughts. So the moment a negative thought comes into your head, so okay, you look at your bank statement, you have this visual, then you look at your bank statement, you see the negative, and the first thing you do is as soon as you feel that start of worry, reject the thought that comes to your mind, whatever it is. I'm broke. No, I'm not broke. Reject it immediately. Learn to do this and it will become habit. It's cognitive behavioral.
Yeah.
It is. It's a cognitive behavioral technique, and I just call it rejecting your thoughts. Whatever that thought is, reject it right away. It's the most practical thing you can do. And at first it's going to be difficult, but over time you can get better at it.
Right. I mean, I guess we can associate it with, for instance, now like an affirmation.
You can substitute it with an affirmation. Absolutely. Substitution is something you can do after you reject. Substitute. Thank you for that. That's true. Substituting with something, you know what? Sometimes it's just hard because sometimes people are like, oh my God, who does this? Right?
But still, I mean, there are people out there who do this.
I do it.
Right? For those who in the sports world, Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady, they do this.
Tell me how they do it. How do they do it in their world, Dave?
Well, for instance, now Tom Brady, his wife, right? His wife, in fact, got him on the path of visualization.
Okay.
Right? When he's on the field, of course, he's doing this for his family. So, of course, he's set up his little altar, right? And, of course, he has this picture of his family, right? And, of course, the visualization process of doing this for his family allows him to go ahead and perform at his highest peak. Right? But Kobe, he sat down with a monk, and he was taught, of course, the power of visualization. Right? That's why he's very strong. If you notice in regards to the way he carries himself, the way he speaks, and when he goes about, of course, his business, he's very strong-willed. Right? Now, all of us can go ahead now and actually have that jegna, right, or that mentor to go ahead and allow us to go ahead, right, and actually, tap into that power, right? However, though, there's things out there that can go ahead and assist us, one-on-one, regardless if, of course, we're reading pick and books such as this, regardless if we're jumping on YouTube, regardless now, of course, if we're just speaking to a friend, right? But there's stuff out there, and we can no longer go ahead and say, you know what, I can't, I don't, I do not want, right?
You know what? That's a good piece for us to jump into our next part. So I believe it's number 7, Selena. So do today's work well. Okay? Going back to being in the present. You cannot act where you are not.
Right.
You cannot act where you have been. And you cannot act where you are going to be. You can act only where you are. Do not bother as to whether yesterday's work was well done or ill done. Do today's work well. Do not try to do tomorrow's work now. There will be plenty of time to do that when you get to it.
Mm.
So this is another important thing about, again, staying in the present and staying where you are. By thought, the things you want is brought to you. By action, you receive it. So again, there has to be some action on your part as well, you know.
Right.
You're not just gonna visualize. This very much goes back to things like The Secret. And this is what you were saying about how there's this like, there's a universal.
Mm-hmm.
This again is a universal thought.
For instance, now, if you want to go and trace it right back to, for instance, okay, let's take the summer solstice we just passed.
Yes.
Okay, now during the summer solstice, the sun is supposed to be at its strongest.
Right.
Right. This is now where we must be at our strongest as well, right? And this comes with, of course, doing with today's work. Well, doing everything that we do, right, with the fervor.
Fervor. Favorite word.
I always love that word.
All right. So let's talk about the business now. So doing things a certain way. You can get into the business you want by making constructive use of the business you are already established in. By doing your daily work in a certain way, and insofar as your business consists in dealing with other men or women, whether personally or by letter, the key thought of all your efforts must be to convey to their minds the impression of increase.
Mm-hmm.
Be sure of this and convey assurance of the fact to every man, woman, and child with whom you come in contact. No matter how small the transaction, even if it be only the selling of a stick of candy to a little child, put it into the thought of increase and make sure that the customer is impressed with that thought.
Right.
Talk to me about that, Dave.
The two things that came to mind, especially when I went back over this. Number one, the purpose of value. Right? Offering that value, that extra value, that added value, as opposed to that transaction. Right? You add value, definitely, of course, people are going to come back.
Absolutely.
Right? The other thing that came to mind as well is the purpose. The Swahili word nia, which is purpose.
Nia?
Nia, N-I-A.
Nia, like
yes.
Nia Long?
Exactly.
It's a nice name.
Yes, it is. Beautiful.
Purpose.
Right? Purpose. Right? When you understand your purpose, right? And when you know your purpose, not just to understand it, but when you know
it.
Right? This is where, of course, that thought process becomes altered. Right? So these are the things that actually came to mind when I heard this.
When you heard this?
Yes.
Okay. So the mind that seeks for mastery over others is the competitive mind. I like this. So, and the competitive mind, they remind us, is not a creative
mind.
It's interesting because throughout the book, if you listen to it and read it, he reiterates certain things over and over and over again. And one of the things that he really sticks on is this whole idea of competitive and creative minds.
Right. At the end of the day, think unlimited as our foreparents have taught us, right? Think unlimited, think unlimited, think unlimited. And in Fundushi, case Hassan Salim, he says this all the time. Think unlimited as our ancestors have, because this is where, of course, we're coming to greatness.
No competition, only creation. Stop competing. Come off of social media. Like, honestly, sometimes I'm only on it sometimes just to because sometimes I feel the need to share so that other people can heal.
Right.
But if it wasn't for that, if I didn't know I could get to a larger market, I would not be on that thing, because it gets you into such a negative space sometimes, because you're seeing what other people are doing and you're just like,
distraction.
It's a distraction. And you come out of this creative space and I'm not time for that. So when we come back, we are going to tackle a few other important points with this book, but I'm going to stress again, this book, guys, The Science of Getting Rich. We're only pulling out parts of it. I really want you guys to take this book in. It changed my life. It changed my life. It allows me to rethink certain things.
Yes.
So when we get back, we'll dig in a little bit more into the science of getting rich right here on Here to Help You.
With so many newspapers within the community, it's sometimes hard to tell what separates us from the rest. Most of the time, they all brag about the same thing. The large circulations, tons of online views, and it can go on and on. But what really separates the Toronto Caribbean newspaper apart from everybody else? Well, it's simple. Our service. No, seriously. Hi, I'm Grant Browning, founder and CEO of the Toronto Caribbean newspaper. I have over 20 years of branding and marketing experience, and I've worked with countless companies and corporations to do one thing, and that is to raise their profits with their brand. With over 40 years of combined experience in branding and marketing, our amazing staff is fully prepared to sit down and figure out exactly what you need to stand out from your competitors.
The reason why you don't see that anymore is because
the ad is too powerful, bring too much people.
So what are you waiting for? Give us a call today. We'll be happy to help.
Hello everyone, my name is Jermaine Chambers, and I'm very excited to tell you about the newest political and current affairs program coming here to Brampton. It's called On Point.
The first step of true reconciliation is learning more about one another.
Join us on Tuesdays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. as we discuss all the issues.
I will never forget the trust you put in me.
Municipal, provincial, federal, and any issue of national importance we will talk about on Point. So do join us.
Welcome back, everybody. If you are just joining us, I'm here with my co-host with the most. And there's a young lady hidden behind the scenes. I'm going to get her thoughts because you know what? It's very important that a lot of this knowledge that we pass on, we have to pass it to our young people. So we have our production manager, Miss Selena. Say wagwan, Selena.
Wagwan.
So, Selena, tell me your thoughts on what you've heard so far.
So as I have graduated, and a lot of my friends have too, but even just being in school, being a student before, it used to be I'm broke all the time. That's all I would hear, especially when I'd ask like, oh, let's go for lunch or let's go do something or attend this workshop. It's I don't have money for that. I'm broke. But at the same time, it's like the money can go towards your partying on the weekend. So it's just like it is your mindset, like what you're going to invest in and what you're going to put your money towards is literally the factor. I mean, the outcome is what you're going to see. So I definitely think he's on to something or is on to something.
Absolutely.
When he talks about your mindset and creativity versus
competition.
Yeah.
It's thank you for that. Again, I need to hear from young people. We need to hear from you young people. Because a lot of this stuff, honestly, it's for you. Old people ain't listening to us. They don't have no time for us. They think they're doing everything right.
They already know it.
They know everything, apparently. Like you start adulting and you just know everything. Meanwhile, a lot of them are still struggling, but they don't want to listen, so we'll pass this on to the youth.
Yes, man.
Right?
Yeah, man.
All right, so advancing thought. Let's talk about advancing thought. So taking care to do each act in a successful manner, he must give to every man, and I'm going to say and woman, a use value in excess of the cash value that he receives, so that each transaction make for more life. And he must so hold the advancing thought that the impression of increase will be communicated to all with whom he comes in contact. So everybody that I come in contact, it's all about increase, no lack, more. Everything is more. We have abundance. The one substance desires to live more in you. Hence, it wants you to have all the things that you need. So here's a point that we were talking about earlier, about sacrificing yourself for others. This is something that our community love fido. Let's talk about it. Get rid of the idea that God wants you to sacrifice yourself for others and that you can secure his favor by doing so. God requires nothing of the kind and him never said that. What? It's the truth. What he wants is that you should make the most of yourself, for yourself, and for others. And you can help others more by making the most of yourself than in any other way. There is nothing wrong, guys, with being selfish. Even that word, selfish. Oh my gosh, you're so selfish. Well, why are you being selfish? Are you just taking? Because that's not what this is talking about here.
Right.
We're not talking about just taking. We're talking about taking to give. But there's some balance that has to happen there.
Yeah. Dr. George Fraser, he touches on, of course, the value add right, in this aspect. So anybody who hasn't heard of George Fraser, please check him out. He talks about value, adding value, right?
Okay. Okay. So we go back to the same point. You must get rid of the thought of competition.
Mm-hmm.
You are to create, not to compete for what is already there for you.
Right.
The money's there. We don't have to compete for this. It's there. You do not have to take anything away from anybody. You do not have to drive sharp bargains. You do not have to cheat or take advantage of people. You do not need to let any man work for you for less than what he deserves.
Yes.
So it's very important that all those little things that we just mentioned there,
Mm-hmm.
taking from others, you don't need to do any of that.
Yeah, man.
Okay? It is wrong, and it's very important you understand this. It is wrong to apply your will to other men and women in order to get them to do what you wish them to do. It is flagrantly wrong to coerce people by mental power as if it was the same to coerce people with physical power. It's the
Right.
same thing. Bullying people, like trying to push your agenda on people, all
Right.
of that, not necessary.
You know what that is already. I mean, that's just an adaptive behavior, right?
Yeah, it's part of the survival,
Exactly, right?
right? To get rich, you need only to use your willpower upon yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of you. When you know what to think and to do, then you must use your will to compel yourself to think and do the right things. Very powerful, guys. Like all this coercion you're using on other people, use that on yourself. All right, here's another big one. Guard your thoughts. Okay? Since belief is all important, it behooves you hear them words there?
Yes.
Behoove to guard your thoughts. And as your beliefs will be shaped to be and as your beliefs will be shaped to a very great extent by the things you observe and think about, it is important that you should command your attention. The very best thing that you can do for the whole world is to make the most of yourself.
Yes, for sure.
You have to.
For sure. You know, I'm sure, of course, you know, and we can't speak for the creator themselves, right? But this energy did not want us as Africans to be stuck in survival mode.
We don't need to be. We don't.
Right? We don't need to be barely scraping by. We don't need to be, of course, you know, like, of course, the violence thing. We understand, in regards to what's stemming from that. But in regards to, of course, to making the most, you know, being that person, or Gandhi is to say, be the change that you want to be in the world.
Yes.
Right? So by means, you know, like, it's universal. It is, you know, and we need more and more of our people to go ahead and actually come to the reality.
Watch this video.
Come to the reality of understanding you can do this.
Some people remain in poverty because they are ignorant of the fact that there's actually wealth there for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And these can be taught by showing them the way to affluence your own person is by practice.
Yeah.
Practice rejection and substitution. Practice those type of cognitive behavioral techniques. Rejecting negative thoughts, rejecting thoughts about poverty, rejecting thoughts about lack, and replacing them, substituting with thoughts of prosperity,
right,
and no limits, right? You cannot retain a true and clear vision of wealth if you are constantly turning your attention to opposing pictures.
Yeah, of course. It just defeats the purpose.
And opposing people. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry. You probably have some people in your life, family, friends, who are living in lack and thinking in lack and thinking poverty thoughts. And it's like, well, they're family and friends. Well, if you want to stay broke with them, feel free. I'm good. I'm sorry. I yelled at my mom. I got mad at my mom because I used to get mad at her because she'd be like, oh, Simone, it's just because I know you don't have a lot of money. I'm like, stop saying that. When you say that, do you know what you do to me? Telling me that I don't have enough money? Guess what happens to me? I don't have enough money. I used to get so irritated. Do you have people like that in your life? And you don't have to call them out. I call out my mom because I call her out all the time. She's used to it. But how about you in your personal life?
You know, yeah, it's there. You know, and I hear it. We you know, like subtly. Like, I hear it. Not everyone gets the blatant coming out and say it, but I hear it. But at the same time, it's what we are doing, right? As a couple is really unheard of,
Yeah, I know.
right? What you and I are doing, right, for our community, right? It's not that it's not unheard of, but it's the most trying, right? It requires the most amount of patience, right? And more importantly, it deserves the willpower that you and I have combined,
Yeah.
right? Because trust me, there are so many detractors who are out there. And we've come across them as individuals and together,
Boy.
right? So I mean,
Yes.
and not to say that we're tooting our own horn, but we're still here, right? And we're still going strong, right? So I mean, by means,
Because we're not competing with nobody.
if you and I, if we can continue to do this after how many years,
Yeah, man. We've been
Right?
strong.
y'all can do it too.
Just don't try to compete. Just stay creating.
Just stay creating. That's all.
So many of you are going to scoff at this idea about there being a science to getting rich. Holding the impression that the supply of wealth is limited and that the societal and government institutions must be changed before we can do anything, stop that. Guys, you are wealth and abundance. I want you to say that to yourselves. If that's the last thing I want to say today, I want to close with that. You are wealth and you are abundance, and you must believe that. There's no need to compete for what's there already for you. You just got to create it. Everyone, create, guys. Stay in creation and stop the competition.
Trust me, it'll open doors. You'll see it. The things that you want and you set out for will take place.
Again, I tell people, quick story. A year and a half ago, I wasn't even allowed to leave the province. When Dave met me, I was not allowed to leave the province.
And now every minute she left me.
In a year and a half, do you know how many places I've gone? And that's just because all I was doing was creating. I
Correct.
wasn't competing with anybody.
That's right.
I stopped that. I reminded myself. The wealth of my travel. Oh my God. Just go on my page. Martinique, Bermuda, England, Jamaica, 3 times over. Like in a year and a half, guys.
Yeah.
This works. I'm telling you, this is all just visualization and creation.
That's right.
It's easy. It works. You guys, I'm telling you, it's a science. Trust us. If you have any questions, please link me. Link Simone, Simone at Carib 101. Dave at Carib 101. Ask questions. We have the answers. And if you are willing to stand and to do this and to change your life, guys, it can happen. You can turn travelers like me all about the place. Ask Dave, he knows. Guys,
she needs a new passport.
Yeah, you should see my passport. Pure stamps, Bridget. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for hanging in there with us, guys. We want wealth for you. We want wealth for all of us. And we're going to continue to find ways so that you can create wealth in your life. Thank you for tuning in for Here to Help You. Selena, say goodbye to everybody, girl.
Bye, everyone.
Like,
Thanks for tuning in.
Comment, and share, everybody. Share the show out. We'll see you guys all next week on Here to Help You. Stay tuned for What Matters with the beautiful Erica Edwards.
Go on with it.
Go on with it, girl. And stay tuned for next week, the first week of On Point with Mr. Chambers.
Yeah,
Mr.
That's a
Chambers.
very interesting show.
Guys, we are doing it here on my TCN TV network.
Before we do close off, I want to big up my niece and nephew who are both graduating. Nija, Isaiah, congratulations.
Congratulations,
We're so
guys.
proud of you guys.
Yay. Wow.
Wonder Twins.
Wonder Twins activate.
That's
See you
right.
guys next week.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.